Bahamas tonight at 11. The Final Word starts now.
And we are happy to have you with us this late night. I'm Corvell Pye from here at 11. Climate change and resilience, digital transformation, infrastructural development, and importantly, regional cooperation, all on the agenda as ministers of finance, governors, and other stakeholders meet here in the Bahamas for the Caribbean Development Bank's 56th annual meeting of the Board of Governors as they chart the way forward in the midst of challenges facing the region. Desmond Saunders was at Bahamas tonight and has this report.
Legislators and policymakers have converged on these grounds to drive economic growth. I can tell you that 3 of the most influential voices led discussions here this afternoon, and I'm proud to be joined by Camille Taylor, who's the head of corporate communications, Caribbean Development Bank. What is the overriding message and theme that you want Caribbean people to drive away with, or take away with this afternoon?
So these are very uncertain times. These are even frightening times, unsettling times. But we want the people of this region to know that the Caribbean Development Bank is actively pursuing solutions in their favor to get the best possible outcomes in spite of the conditions which are not in our favor. And happily today we have our partners here with us from the global financial community. We're not in this fight alone. We have partners here from the OPEC Fund, from the European Investment Bank, from CABE, from CAF, from the IDB, and we are all putting our collective minds and hearts together to get the best possible outcomes for the Caribbean people when it comes to sustainable development.
Thank you very much. Now, earlier this morning, we had the opening ceremony for the 56th annual meeting of the Caribbean Development Bank, where there was a call for stronger regional cooperation from the nation's chief Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis. Cleopatra Murphy has a story.
Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis called on the Caribbean community to be the decider of its own fate when it comes to battling climate change and the subsequent recovery from its impacts during the opening of the Caribbean Development Bank's 56th annual meeting of the Board of Governors Wednesday. The nation's leader emphasized that surviving a storm is not the same as changing the conditions that give rise to it. He noted that while the region has shown its ability to endure crisis after crisis, true progress requires more than resilience. It demands the courage to transform outdated systems and build a stronger, more sustainable future.
A region that learns only to survive will be asked to survive again and again and again until survival is the only thing it knows how to do. And I say we, without exception, because the Bahamas lives with the same reality.
The Prime Minister says the time has come for the region to build its own solutions, arguing that the global financial architecture was never designed with small island developing states in mind. He says that Afrexim Bank has committed billions of dollars to the Caribbean and is now supporting efforts to establish a Caribbean Exim Bank, a move he says could transform the region's access to capital and trade financing. Simply put, he says the region must invest in itself.
We must no longer accept that a credit rating built for a continent that should decide the fate of an archipelago. We must create tools of our own, regional guarantees, blended finance, mechanisms that reward our resilience instead of punishing our geography.
Also addressing the forum was Chairman of the Board of Governors of the CDB, Minister of Finance, the Honorable Michael Alcides, who says with nations facing economic volatility, climate emergencies, and widening inequality, the region must determine its response.
The future demands strategy. The future demands transformation. The future demands bold leadership and collective action.
While the impact of climate change is increasingly evident, CDB President Daniel Best says the region also faces geopolitical shocks and technological disruption.
Our strength lies in our shared history. Our opportunity lies in our common challenges, and our success will be determined by how boldly we embrace regional collaboration and partnership.
As the region faces brain drain, the Prime Minister says it must invest in the one asset that no agency can ever downgrade or no storm can ever wash away, and that is the mind of a Caribbean child. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Our thanks tonight to both Desmond and Cleo. On to other news here at 11. If you collect a pension or pay national insurance, well, you should know tonight that changes are coming. For the details, here's our Leah Cooper.
The National Insurance Board making some adjustments come next month. Pensions will increase by 1.5% and the insurable wage by $20 per week. This means some workers and employers may pay slightly more in national insurance contributions as the earnings limit used to calculate contributions rises. We learned this much from NIB Director Dr. Tammy Francis.
The weekly insurable wage ceiling will increase from $810 to $830. The monthly insurable wage ceiling will increase from $3,510 to $3,597. All minimum pension rates and grants will increase by 1.5%. All pensions currently in payment prior to July 2026 will increase by up to 1.5%.
As Dr. Francis explains, this doesn't mean every worker will be paying more into national insurance. In fact, she says the increase only affects contributors whose weekly earnings exceed the current insurable wage ceiling of $810. If you earn less, there's no change to your national insurance deductions. Now, if you make more, here's what that means.
For employees paying at the contribution rate of 4.65%, the additional employee contribution amounts to 93 cents per week, or converted to $4.03 per month.
Maternity grants will also increase from $560 to $570, and funeral benefits increase from $2,060 to $2,100.
A pensioner receiving the minimum retirement pension of approximately $364 per month will receive an increase of approximately $5.46 per month. Now, while this increase may appear modest, it reflects an important principle. Pension benefits should not be frozen while the cost of living continues to change. The biennial adjustment process ensures that pensioners receive regular reviews and cost of living adjustments through an established legislative framework rather than having to wait for special legislative action.
Dr. Francis says not every pensioner will receive the same increase, adding that all pensions awarded prior to 2024 will be adjusted to receive the full increase. Those awarded after July 2024 will receive smaller increments. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Leah Cooper.
And it is a bit early in our newscast to talk about weather, but how could we not when you consider the severe system that dumped heavy rain here in the capital today, bringing traffic to a snail, and motorists sought to do their best to avoid flooded streets. No such luck, though, for some vehicles. Many were left submerged. Their owners stranded. There are no official total rainfall amounts just yet released by the Bahamas Department of Meteorology, but no one has to tell us it was a whole lot of rain here in the capital today. Of course, our Diane Dorset will be along a little later with our complete weather forecast. A midday drive on Fire Trail Road West ended in death after a white Honda Accord reportedly lost control and slammed into the wall of a business establishment. Tonight, traffic police are pointing to speed as a possible factor. Lyle Maycock tells us more.
A Wednesday afternoon crash on Fire Trail Road West turned fatal after a white Honda Accord left with extensive rear and side damage slammed into the wall of VRC Bahamas. Assistant Superintendent Demetria Capron of the Traffic Division says police were called shortly after 12 p.m.
Our initial reports indicate that the lone occupant of the vehicle, a driver, was headed east on Fire Trail Road West when he overtook another vehicle and lost control of his vehicle, colliding into the wall of a business establishment.
EMS responded to the scene and found no signs of life. Police have not released the driver's identity, saying relatives must first be notified. However, they confirm the male is in his late 30s. The driver of the vehicle that was overtaken remained on scene and is assisting officers. Capron says investigators are still working through the details, but one factor has already emerged.
We can say that while we are in the early stages of this investigation, that speed did play a factor in this accident.
As police continue their investigation, they are again warning motorists that one moment of dangerous driving can cost a life.
One life lost in a traffic crash is simply one too many, and so we cannot afford to have another accident, that could be avoided when speed is a factor.
Police are continuing investigations into the country's latest traffic fatality on Fire Trail Road. Motorists are encouraged to drive with caution as police continue to work out circumstances surrounding the fatal crash. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lyle Maycock.
There is much more news to come this late night. When we come back, the tourism minister is in the Big Apple. We will tell you why. That story plus more. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. We hope you'll stay up with us.
There are some things that are undeniably Bahamian. A good count salad, junkanoo, the way we worship, the way we take care of one another, all undeniably Bahamian. And right in the midst of our iconic things, places, and people is Commonwealth Bank. Increasing access, sponsoring dreams, working alongside Bahamians to increase the quality of their lives for more than 60 years. Commonwealth Bank, nothing more than being Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
First safety rule I remember is to never swim alone. Second rule, tell someone where you're going and what time you're expected to be back. Safety rule number 3, whenever you're on a boat or canoe, always carry a life jacket, when you're a weak swimmer or a strong swimmer. Safety rule number 4, don't dive into unknown waters. Safety rule number 5, parents, don't be on your cell phone when you're at the beach, pool, and with your child.
We want to get to some of the other items in the news this late night. The U.S. Coast Guard, defense, and police officers today combing sections of the sea near Lubbers Quarters, Abaco, as the case of American Lynette Hooker takes a new turn. Our Raven Davis of our Northern Service is on the water just feet away from search teams throughout the operation and has more.
Yes, well, I can tell you it was a busy scene just earlier today here in the Lubbers Quarters area just west of Hopetown, Abaco. This as U.S. Coast Guard divers assisted by officials from the Royal Bahamas Police Force along with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force were on the water for several hours searching for missing Michigan woman Lynette Hooker. Now, the operation was set to begin on Tuesday but did not get underway until today. This as investigators follow up on new information developed in this ongoing case. Officials spent much of the day focused on waters off Lubbers Quarters. One vessel from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, one from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and one from the U.S. Coast Guard were observed in shallow waters, with at least 3 officials later seen waiting in the area. Members of the media were kept at a distance, and authorities did not provide details about the nature of the search or what investigators may have been looking for. The operation comes nearly 2 months after Hooker disappeared while reportedly boating with her husband in waters near Hopetown. The couple frequently documented their time on the water and were known online as the Sailing Hookers. Now, the case has drawn widespread local and international attention following recent reports that questions or inconsistencies have emerged in Brian Hooker's initial account to investigators. Well, at this time, it is unclear whether officials were able to recover anything of significance or whether the operation will continue into tomorrow. However, this is a developing story, and we will continue to follow it closely. But for now, reporting live from Hopetown, Abaco for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Raven Davis.
Our thanks to Raven Davis of our Northern Service. Well, Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, is leading the Bahamas' participation in Caribbean Week in New York, the Caribbean Tourism Organization's premier annual forum for regional tourism engagement. Under the theme, One Caribbean, Infinite Experiences, Caribbean Week brings together tourism leaders, industry executives, investors, media representatives, and stakeholders from across the region to discuss the opportunities, challenges, and innovations shaping the future of Caribbean tourism. Minister Hannah Martin will lead the Bahamian delegation as they participate in a series of high-level meetings, media engagements, and strategic industry discussions throughout the week. On Tuesday, the Bahamas hosted the Caribbean Media Awards Luncheon, an event that recognizes excellence in travel journalism and brings together editors, writers, broadcasters, and communications professionals from key source markets. Caribbean Week ends on Friday. The Bahamas tonight at 11 turns to sports next. Over to Swanson Gibson Jr. now with a look at what's coming up.
Coming up in sports, a Bahamian Olympian elected as athletes rep to the B3As. More on this story coming up next.
Whether you need life insurance, an endowment plan, or health insurance, BAF has you for all stages of your life.
At Marco's, we make it better. Better ingredients, better flavors, better quality. A signature sauce that families have always counted on. We are not only serving your family, but our families too. 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas with center squares or cheesy bread for just $29.95. When you want pizza you can trust, choose Marco's. Your family deserves the best. Marco's Pizza, crafted with heart and proudly shared with love.
Welcome to your Wednesday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Swanson Gibson Jr. We begin tonight's sportscast with track and field news. Bahamian sprinter Ian Kerr was recently named the athlete's representative for the B3As. Kerr has represented the Bahamas on the track in a global light, competing at the 2024 Games in Paris. Now he is looking to make more of an impact in Bahamian athletics, serving as liaison between his counterparts and their governing body.
The feeling of being nominated as athlete's rep is special to me because it shows that my fellow teammates, my fellow athletes that understand what's going on, they trust me enough to put me in a position that they think I can get the job done, so that means a lot to me.
Kerr also discussed how his exposure at the amateur and professional levels will influence his approach.
I think my exposure as an amateur and a professional athlete, all the way from Carifta to the Olympic Games, influences me in many different ways. One being, I've seen it done in many different ways, in many different styles. Even though when I was younger, I didn't really understand the process as I do now, but I've seen it done many ways. And so based on that, I think it can tailor my experience and my thought process on certain things and shape them into a way that can be better for everyone. Which is why I kind of want to be more transparent with my role and show the athletes this is how the higher-ups think, and show the higher-ups that this is how the athletes think. And I think once I do that, then it can, like I said, it'll shape the way both of the sides look at each other.
And still on track, Bahamian hurdler Anton Andrews hits the transfer portal ahead of his senior campaign in NC Division I track and field. Our Michelle Butler caught up with the young athlete as he discussed his move from Texas Tech and overcoming adversity in collegiate athletics.
Bahamian hurdler Antoine Andrews is preparing for the next chapter of his collegiate career. The Olympic semifinalist and former Texas Tech standout has officially entered the NCAA transfer portal, a move he says comes after careful consideration of both his athletic and personal goals. Andrews joined ZNS Sports via Zoom to discuss the decision.
Challenge myself. I wanted a different challenge. I wanted to be uncomfortable again and get a different drive. I feel like I just was kind of getting comfortable where I'm at, so I just needed something that's going to make me uncomfortable again. After I saw how the year went for me, I think the main thing was me not competing this outdoor because of injuries. I think that's kind of what made me decide to make the change.
The Bahamian hurdler outlined the key qualities he's looking for as he begins the recruitment process.
I think since I've been since I've been hurt so much, I think it showed me how much I could handle adversity. And I think I actually learned my body as the years go by too. And I think me getting this setback is going to help me in the long run too.
With his name now in the transfer portal, Antoine Andrews begins the search for a new home as he continues his pursuit of excellence on the track. He's focused on finding the right fit, both athletically and personally, as he works toward achieving even bigger goals in the years ahead. For ZNS Sports, I'm Michelle Butler.
Shifting gears, the Bahamas Striping Group of Company has been increasing their efforts in developing sports facilities around the archipelago. Most recently, putting the finishing touches on a new track in Roxana Luthra. But the organization is not limiting their impact to development as they continue their third annual Let's Make a Difference Youth Swimming program.
As a company, we think it's very important that every child in the Bahamas in Nassau have the opportunity to learn how to swim safely in a safe environment.
The program would actually begin at the end of this month, which will be the 29th, and it will go on to the 30th of the following month.
So we have 12 instructors that are going to be contracted to teach the children how to swim within the next couple of months.
On the diamond, the University of the Bahamas Athletics is breaking new ground, hosting the program's first ever softball prospect showcase this weekend. Nearly 40 women athletes from public and private institutions will take to the Blue Hill Sporting Complex, being evaluated by coaches on various aspects of the game.
We don't have a space right now where we see both private and public school come in a capacity similar to nationals and compete on the same teams. And so being able to do that at the university level for purposes to stay within the university system honestly gives an opportunity for students in the Bahamas, in Nassau, to say, hey, the University of the Bahamas is a viable option for the next collegiate career. We would visit USSSA, we'd visit BISS games, being able to see it all come together. I'm really excited for that. I'm also excited to see the defensive and offensive evaluations, whether that we're testing exit velocity off your bat or speed coming off of your arm and your throwing velocity.
The softball showcase will take place this Saturday at 9 a.m. through noon. And that's been a look at your sports on this Wednesday. I'm Swanson Gibson Jr., signing out until tomorrow.
Hi. Hello? Hey, girl. I at Wendy's. I'm trying to go to Essence Fest. Wendy's and Coca-Cola want to take you and your bestie to New Orleans. July 3rd through 5th is Essence Fest, and you could be traveling VIP style.
Roxy?
Tenders?
Tenders.
All you gotta do is upgrade any premium lunch combo 1 through 12 or a salad to a large, like a spicy number 6, add cheese and bacon, or a Dave's Classic, or my personal favorite, Tendies. This will now serve as your final boarding call for Flight 735, service into Essence Fest. Boarding now. Nola! We coming back?
Did you know that it's easy to teach a pot cake new tricks? Just go grab a treat and show them what you'd like them to do. Whether it be sit, stay, or walk properly on a leash, pot cakes are very intelligent and always want to please. Try it with your dog today.
Ginger. Sit. Good.
Good boy. Down, yes. Roll over, all the way, roll over. Come on. All right.
And before we toss it to weather, I had the pleasure today of meeting this lovely lady, and I promised her that we would say hello to her on the broadcast tonight. So we'd like to say a special good evening to Andrea Pratt. And now the weather with Diane Dorsett.
Good evening. Our satellite picture shows broad bands of clouds across the northwest and central Bahamas. That's the result of two frontal boundaries that have merged over the area and will trigger occasional downpours and thunderstorms across most of the northwest and central Bahamas from now through to the weekend as it slowly moves southward. There is also a Saharan dust advisory now in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, so air quality index will be moderate to unhealthy for sensitive groups and visibility may be significantly reduced in some areas. Now, let's take a quick check on temperatures around the Family Islands. In the northern Bahamas, it is 79 degrees in Freeport City and Grand Turtle Key, 77 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, 81 in Allenstown, Bimini, and 80 degrees in Bullocks Harbor. In Fresh Creek, Central Andros, it is 82 degrees, 85 in Camps Bay, South Andros. Hopper Island, 81, but 84 in Rock Sound, Eleuthera, and in Arthurstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, all at 86 degrees, 87 in Exuma. And for our southernmost islands, we've got 88 in Clarencetown, Crooked Island, and Ragged Island, 87 degrees in Acklins and Betsy Bay, 82 in Matthewstown, Inagua, and for the Turks and Caicos Islands, it is 86 degrees. Now tonight, you can expect a low of 78 degrees, mostly cloudy and warm with thunderstorm in some parts of the area this evening, followed by a brief shower or two later on. And for tomorrow, brief morning showers, but otherwise breezy and with variable cloudiness and a high of 81 degrees. Now, in your extended forecast, you can expect mostly cloudy skies with periods of showers and isolated thunderstorms throughout the week. Some of these showers and thunderstorms could be locally heavy and severe at times, so keep your rain guards close by and stay safe. The approaching frontal trough will keep things slightly cooler, but as that moves along, temperatures will quickly climb back up into the upper 80s. That's your late night look at weather, and as always, rest easy, stay cozy, and thanks for staying up with us. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, Diane. And I've been instructed by Director Saunders to say hello once again to Andrea Pratt, so we say again to her, good evening. Well, thank you for being with us. That is our broadcast here this late night. I'm Corvell Pye from Fort Swanson. Diane and our entire team, you take care, be well. And remember, we will all be looking to see you again right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.
At Bahama Boulevard, I'm Sean Innes. This is ZNS.